This is John for Global Traveler Magazine. I have a really special interview. I'm on the beat today with musician Evan Toth. How are you, sir?
Hi, John. I'm okay. How are you?
Good, man. You're calling from out east, but you told me you got a heat wave out there. You're up to like 22 or so.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're comparing our snowfall results in Illinois versus New Jersey. I don't know who won actually. Who got more
Uh,
snow in the last week or so?
I don't know if we ever really win in this battle. I think it's more like just surviving it right now.
That's
You
true.
probably did. I mean, we got maybe a foot total, maybe.
Yeah, we got a well. We might have you beat New Jersey here in northern New Jersey. We got about a foot and a half earlier in the week, and then another surprise 8 inches yesterday. So
Oh,
we've got a lot of snow in.
surprise. Well, we're supposed to get more today, so the competition continues.
It
We'll
could,
see.
well, we'll check. We'll have to check in a week or so.
But the reason why I got you, not to talk about weather, to talk about music. So before we get into all the cool stuff, well, this is cool too. Could you give us like a short bio on yourself?
Sure. My name is Evan Toth. I'm a musician. I'm a singer-songwriter. Have been doing it for a very long time, and I'm on the precipice of releasing my third album here, which is going to be called The Show. I've got two other albums. One called Welcome Back to Hell, which is what you would listen to before all the snow, and then the second one is called Everything Is Fine. So those two are available wherever fine digital music is procured nowadays.
And I listened to them both. Oh, I listened to. I think you only have one on the website, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, one on the second one's on the website, but the other
Right.
one is still on Spotify and everything else.
So I listened to that one, and I listened to the one that you gave me a sneak preview. The audience won't hear it until it actually comes out, but you were very gracious enough to give me a sneak preview of the show. And I told you this before the interview. I'll say this now on live. That album blew me away. I started listening to it, and obviously the first song is the show, and I was listening to it, and I went, if I tell this guy that that was my favorite song, he's gonna think I listened to one song and then blew it off. But it is my favorite song on the album. But I loved there's always someone new. The sax just completely blew me away in that song.
And, and you know who that is, of course.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, member of the Billy Joel family of musicians. Also, Make My Way to You. I didn't expect it, but then kind of in the beginning, the beautiful female voice came into it.
She is beautiful. And in fact, that's my wife. Her name is Laura.
Oh,
Yep, Laura Toth. Laura Giannoni was her professional name. In fact, we met doing entertainment stuff. We were both in Tony and Tina's wedding, and we were on tour and in Providence, Rhode Island, many years ago, 14 years ago or whatever it was. And she was Tina if you're familiar with this show,
yeah,
Tony Wedding.
yes.
It's a fake wedding. So she was the bride, Tina, and of course I was the sleazy wedding band singer, Donnie. So we got friendly and familiar during that tour that week, and the rest is history. But she has a fabulous musical side to her herself, and she was gracious enough to sing with me on that track, and she's singing back up on another one. But it was great to do a duet with her.
No, that was really cool. It's unexpected, and then just she came on. It's such a beautiful voice. You guys together. It was just wonderful melody. I guess would be the my musical terms a little off. I'm not a musician. I have no musical abilities whatsoever. So forgive me about that. But
No,
I know what I like, and I like what I heard.
you're doing great. No, absolutely. She's a real musical theater person, and I'm not. Well, I've done some things in musical theater, but I'm, a long time rock and roll singer songwriter guy. So our voices are unique in that way. She's very clear and very bell like, and I'm kind of like, just making it work. But yeah, she definitely she steals the show on that one.
Well, you got a powerful voice, man. It really, it's I love that type. It almost reminded me a little bit of the old Phil Spector Wall of Sound on some of the songs. Like the backup or the background is just so powerful. I cannot. I'm probably fumbling over my words here. I'm not usually a big fanboy, but man, I'm a big fan of that album.
I appreciate that, John, and I thank you. And those are all amazing compliments. And I have a great respect for. I have a really eclectic music collection and an ear. And I do a lot of radio, and I host, and I like to connect songs together. And I think I think it comes out in those things like Phil Spector or Paul McCartney or Billy Joel. I mean, those are some huge influences musically, and a lot of other things. I love a lot of classical music. I love jazz a lot, and I'm always. I don't know. I'm really pretty self-taught guy, so a lot of that stuff kind of just comes out. I don't know where it comes from all the time, but I guess it does come out as a blend, and I just sort of start doing these things and making these sounds that seem to make sense to me, and then it comes out in that way. It's a sort of an eclectic. I don't even want to say American, because it's really my interests are global, international. I love everything. So it comes out. I'm glad it came out for you there, John. I'm glad that's
Totally,
really.
totally, man. So you mentioned that. Well, I mentioned the sax, and then you started going into it. So tell everybody, what is the connection? What is behind the sax, and how? And this is what led me to you, sir.
Well, the story, John, is as you know, sort of. I'm a big Billy Joel fan. As I said, I love that 70s, 60s, 70s singer songwriter Beatle thing. As everybody does. Who doesn't like that stuff? And Billy obviously was such an eclectic musician himself, and took advantage of all those sounds and all that stuff. And I love him. I've loved his music for a long, long time. So in fact, back to my wife, when we were on our honeymoon, this was about 10 years ago, I noticed Liberty Devitto, who was Billy Joel's longtime drummer, had just joined Facebook. And he started his own Facebook page or something, or an account. And I was like, that's crazy, because at that time people were, you either had a real professional uh, thing on Facebook, or you didn't really hear about people. But here he was, he had his own thing, and I went, that's crazy. So I just reached out. I said, hey, I'm this New Jersey guy, and I have this music, and would you be interested to play or something like that? And he just wrote back a very polite, sure, send me some stuff, and we sent a few emails back and forth. But again, these things take a long time. This is really a decade in the making.
Wow. Okay.
So then the other part of it is, I have a friend who I worked with, a musician in here in New Jersey. His name is Doug Kistner, and Doug plays keyboards in the Lords of 52nd Street. So he plays Lords of 52nd Street is a Billy Joel band. We wouldn't really call it a cover band or a tribute band, because the key guys in the Billy Joel group were in this band. So Liberty Devitto on drums, Richie Cannata on saxophone and organ, and Russell Javors on guitar. And then they have a fellow who does the Billy Joel part. Um, so we so he was playing for them, and I said, geez, wouldn't it be great if I could get those guys to play on some of my new music? And Richie Cannata, as it happens, has a terrific recording studio on Long Island. And my beautiful wife, who you were complimenting just a few minutes ago, is from Long Island. So she's from Oceanside, New York, and I'm here in New Jersey, and it just it hit me like a thunderbolt. And I said, wait, we could actually put this thing together, perhaps. And we did, and that's basically what it is. So I brought this music to them, and said I would love to have you guys play on it, and it would be an honor and a tribute to enjoying watching them growing up, and just having them be a big musical part of my life for so long. It would be a real honor to have them play, and I still can't believe that it happened, frankly, because it was only a couple days in the studio, and we can all listen to the tracks now, but it went quickly, and it's like any great moment in your life, you want to soak it up while it's happening, because it happens so quickly, and then it's gone. But yeah, we pulled it together, and that's the short story. That's the short version, in fact.
Hey, but you said it, about I'm drawing a blank on the name, the Lords of 52nd Street.
Right.
You said they're not a cover band. This isn't at all a cover album either. I mean,
No,
it's got a lot of Billy Joel influence. You can clearly tell that, but it's completely your own music, correct?
absolutely. I mean, the goal of this music isn't to be, it's not really to be like Billy Joel. It's not to sound like Billy Joel. It's not to, it's not to do anything Billy Joel other than, think of him as the usual influence on my music that he always is, um, in ways that is difficult to pinpoint sometimes because of what an eclectic musician he was. So he's influenced me as a musician in ways I don't even know how I've connected with them musically. But no, I mean, I love that band. I love those albums, those core albums, where they're playing, and just the opportunity to put my tunes together with that, power and arrangement and those guys and those legitimate players, was something that I just that's what the project was. But yeah, no, it's not like we're playing Billy Joel music or anything like that.
Now, did having those guys on the recording, did that put any extra pressure on you? And did you change your songs at all because of them, or were you going with those songs regardless?
That's a good question. We had, I think there are 10 songs on the record. So I think we probably started with, I think I sent maybe 14 songs to them thinking that these would be the ones. And then uh, they didn't really, let me just do this here. Whoop. They didn't, uh-oh, there we
There
go.
we go. We're
They
back.
didn't, I don't remember anybody suggesting we do or not do anything, but I think as it went through, as I just sort of pared it down, I decided on 10 songs out of the 14. But yeah, I mean, going in there into the recording studio on that first day, it's like, wow, these are the guys. I mean, definitely, they are not intimidating people, but it was definitely intimidating to be there with these heroes of mine, and then to sit there and it's one thing to meet him. If you met him on the street, you'd be like, oh, geez, I'm a little nervous to meet Liberty Devitto or whatever. But here we are. Not only are we meeting each other for maybe the second or third time, but now we have to make music together, and we have to sort of work together to arrange that stuff. And just as they would do on the Billy albums, we would just, hey, that's not working, or let's just throw this idea out there or something like that. But we moved quickly, we worked fast, and they worked really hard. They were long days, and yeah, it was just, it's like I said, it's like a pinch yourself moment where you're like, is this sort of happening? And then once we really started moving, it wasn't really intimidating anymore. We're just kind of musicians speaking the same language together.
So have you met Billy, or will you meet Billy?
No, I don't know. Maybe one day, but no, I haven't met him. That would be, that's just like a homina moment. I mean, what do you say? If you meet Billy Joel or you meet Paul McCartney or you meet, somebody like that. But who knows? It would be great if he heard what the guys are doing for sure. I think he'd be, aside from my own work, I think he'd be really proud of the way that they sound together. It's that sound. I mean, it's got that sound.
It does, as I listen through it, I would go like, well, that's got that sound that reminds me of 52nd Street, and then a little bit later it reminds me of Innocent Man. Then it reminds me of Streetlight Serenade. You know, you were able to pull it all in, but still make it original, which is really the cool part to me. A lot of people could probably do a cover of Billy, not as good as Billy, but a lot of people could probably do covers and their imitations. But you did the best part. You did your own stuff, and yet the influence is so powerful within it. I just it really it just brought the whole Billy experience to me.
Well, that's a great compliment. I mean, I can't ever hope to hear anything more than that, because that was really the exact intent, John, and it was a meld of that, and it's something that I've been. Listen, it was just an opportunity that presented itself in this particular time and moment and place in history. That these guys happened to be playing together. They happened to be living somewhere that I can drive to. I happen to love Billy Joel for these years. I happen to be playing piano and singing for a long time. So, it was a real kismet, kind of experience that just came together that, it's like those things in life that happen and you say, hey, I got to take advantage of this. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, we did. We grabbed onto it the best we could.
Now, did they edit or try to change any of your music, or were they strictly going by the book?
No, they listen, they understand they're total professionals, total musician professionals, and they understand what it is for an artist to bring their music to the group, and they're respectful of that, and work within those confines, and really as we're going through, with the production, we sort of did the scratch tracks together, a lot of those rhythm tracks, drums, bass, and then a keyboard. But then I went in without them and sort of did the rest of the vocals, and I played a lot of the guitar parts. Russell, of course, plays guitar on the record, but I play the guitar as well. Richie, I was really happy to have Richie on organ because
Wow.
everybody knows Richie as the great Billy Joel sax player. He's the guy. He's playing
Sure.
those tunes. But I always, when I was a kid, reading those liner notes and looking at the Billy Joel albums, I'd say, Richie plays organ too. He's playing organ on The Stranger. He's playing a lot of those organ parts on 52nd Street. I don't know exactly what he plays and what Billy played, but I think Richie plays the majority of those. So when we were doing this, I said, I got to get Richie to play organ on this thing.
Wow. Yeah.
So we got Richie on organ and on sax, just like on the record. And Russell's on guitar, of course. And just Liberty on drums is crazy. I mean, it's just listening to those. I mean, bringing those tracks back after the first day or two and listening to the raw tracks was just like my wife and I are just looking at each other like, what? What is this? And Malcolm Gold plays bass with the Lords of 52nd Street. So, we said, well, why not? He plays with Liberty a lot. He plays with Liberty on those gigs, and they play those Billy Joel songs together. So let's have Malcolm, and he is just a beautiful bass player. He was just an absolute. He brought so much to the plate. If you listen to this record again, just focus on those bass tracks. He does a beautiful job, and of course, as you know, Doug Stegmeyer, Billy's longtime bass player, is passed away many years ago. But the Stegmeyer family gave us permission to use one of Doug's basses in this recording. So I think there were two basses that Malcolm was using, but one of them was Doug Stegmeyer's blue bass that you'd see on the Russian tour concert. Any footage of that? Doug is playing that bass on that tour.
That's about as cool as it gets, my friend. So a few standard questions. Favorite Billy Joel song?
Oh, well, that's a tough one. Can I do album instead?
That was my next question. So I was gonna say song and album.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe my favorite song isn't a favorite album. Well, let me work backwards. I think my favorite album is, I'm really big fan of the Nylon Curtain. I love the Nylon Curtain. I love those Beatley influences that Billy had on there, and I really enjoyed his writing on that album. I really love Glass Houses too. There's something about that 80 to 82 phase for me that's just, people focus on that late 70s, which I love too, but there's something I really connect with on those records. And one of my favorite songs is probably Laura. Of course, my beautiful wife. Her
There
name
you
is
go.
Laura too. Her name
How
is Laura.
convenient.
How could this not happen? You know what I mean, John? All the stars aligned. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I would say album that I would probably cop out and say I couldn't name one, but for me the song is absolutely Vienna.
Vienna. Oh, well, that's a great one too. And I remember learning about Billy Joel, and once I started getting into the music that wasn't on the greatest hits and stuff that wasn't on the radio, that was one of the first deeper cuts that I remember really saying, oh, wow, this is great.
So if you had one chance to sing a song with Billy, what song would you sing? Would you pick one of his? Would you pick one of yours?
Uh, that's a pretty wild question. Um, well, I'd love to hear him sing on a song, one of my songs, but that's a little too fantastical to even imagine. But I think I would love to sing. You know what I'd love to sing with him? Um, uh, you may be right. That would be fun. You know, just kind of running, trading lines and running back and forth on the stage. I don't know. That's
No,
my
hey, that's you can't go wrong. There's no wrong answer to that question. I don't think. I mean, I love the Beatles. I love Paul McCartney, but man, Billy. From the first time I heard him, probably in early '70s, because I'm a little older than you. First time I heard him, I was completely enthralled by his music, and I've seen him like 15 times. My dream was it got derailed this year. I was going to see, or last year, I was going to see him at Madison Square Garden, and the pandemic wiped it out. So that's still on my bucket list. But
You'll
we
get
all
there.
have
Well,
fun.
he's coming back. I think he announced he's going to do.
He
He's going to
did.
try November or something like that.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
So
so that'll be fun. Yeah, I saw him there a few years ago at Madison Square Garden, and I'd seen him again on I think when he released that Greatest Hits 3 tour. I think I saw him in maybe it was the Meadowlands or something. And then the first time I saw him was on the River Dreams tour. That was at the Garden too.
that's another fun album with obviously the sort of a different band, but still quality.
Yeah,
So since Global Traveler is a travel site and magazine, I'm going to ask you a couple of travel questions before we wrap this up.
absolutely.
If you got to, what would be your dream venue to perform?
Dream venue. Well, here I am in northern New Jersey, and I want to give you an exotic location. I want to say Red Rocks, so that I could fly first class somewhere as a global traveler, or I want to say, the Royal Albert Hall or something. But um, I could probably drive to Carnegie Hall in 35 minutes from where I'm sitting now, and I think that would be Carnegie Hall. What's better than Carnegie Hall, John?
No, when I thought of that question, I penned you for either that or Madison Square Garden just for the history of it. I thought based on your musical history, you would go with Carnegie though.
Yeah, Carnegie Hall or Madison Square or Lincoln Center. Really, I love Lincoln Center so much. It's such a beautiful performing arts space. Um, so I could. That's not global travel, John. I'm sorry. That's
Well,
just.
you know what it
I'm
is
still in the
though.
tri-state.
Look, man, I've been with Global Traveler for 15 years, however long it's been in business, and the only time I've gone out of the country is Canada. So they still let me hang around. It's all part of the globe, right?
That's it. Well, Illinois to Canada. That's a short flight.
Except, well, we drove, but it's
Okay.
because we wanted to see America or Michigan. So for a travel destination, where would you like to go? Like your top two or three places?
Um, I'd love to go. I actually was when I was doing Tony and Tina's wedding. We actually did a short tour to Japan, to Fukuoka, Japan, and it was just great to play and sing there and be a musician in Japan. I'd love to go back to Japan. Love to go back to Italy. My wife has family there. We've been wanting to get back to the Bari region of Italy, and somewhere that I haven't been. I am Hungarian, and I'd love to visit Hungary and that Eastern European area, Poland and Hungary and uh, Romania, stuff like that. Love to get over there.
All solid choices, my friend. Before
Yeah.
I let you go, this is your shot. Say whatever you want. Give your website plug, give your music plugs, social media, whatever you want, my friend.
Thank you, John. And let me just start by saying too, thank you for reaching out. And I'm glad that you learned about this project and thought that this was something you wanted to share with your audience. So thank you to you and hi John's audience, and thank you to you for listening. And just please check the record out if you love great rock and roll, timeless music. I think you'll find something on this record to enjoy. It's going to be called The Show, and probably will be out, I would imagine, I'm thinking late springish officially. So you can find it there. We'll find it online everywhere. You just search my name, Evan Toth. And of course, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all of those places, posting as often as I can about things that are happening in my world, and about stuff going on with this project. And of course, there's always my website, evantoth.com.
Which features some of your older music.
Yeah,
Older,
get the
but
old
still
record.
quality.
I'll get the old record back up there before this new one comes out. I'll probably be reformatting the website and figuring out, how to best show the new things. So it'll be new and improved, John.
Well, I found you because you posted in a Billy Joel group. You posted you were sitting on the stairs, which is the cover of the Innocent Man album,
Which
I also did. And I was yeah, completely. It was on my notes. I completely forgot to ask you. Did you do any of the other things? Because I did the turnstile, the actual turnstiles,
oh
and I did oh gosh, what else did I did? I did the building from 52nd Street.
which isn't
which is
there
not
anymore or something, right?
But I did where it was.
Right. You did where it would have been. No,
Yeah.
no, I don't think I've seen any other Billy spots aside from I once, when I visit my in-laws on Long Island, I'm always like, oh, this is, you recognize the town names and stuff, and so I'm always kind of looking around for stuff. Billy Joel related, but that's about it. The only place that I visited. But yeah, those steps are there, and they're still there, and the Innocent Man stairs, and certainly they're very iconic, and they're very interesting stairs. If you want to,
Yes.
you could do a show about stairs. If you really look at those stairs, I mean, they didn't just pull them out. They didn't just say, "Hey, Billy, go sit on those
Right.
stairs." So the design on those stairs is really interesting, and there's an interesting restaurant down below the stairs that I've always wanted to go to. It's a
Really? Okay.
place. It's called Lure. I think it's still there, and but I've never gone there. But I want to go. I imagine Billy took the photo and then maybe went to the restaurant. Oh, maybe it didn't exist in 1980.
Well, when I went there, there were like teenagers sitting on the stairs, and I wanted that picture. And I said, guys, this is going to sound stupid. Do you mind if I take a picture on these stairs? If you could, And they kind of looked at me, why? And I said, well, these were on, Billy Joel's, and they had no idea. And then they were like, they're famous. And I said, well, they're on the album. If you're a Billy fan, they're famous. Yes.
Well, I think it's what is the store? I don't know what it is. It's like a Dolce and Gabbana or a Prada or something. So if you sit there too long, they come on now, let's go.
I just took the picture and bolted that because I had a whole list of things. I had to get to the subway, and then then we had to get to a global traveler function, which is why I was out there. I would love to do the entire Billy tour because I had a whole list, but traffic is bad in New York, so I was only able to get. But man, listen, I really, really, really appreciate your time. I wore the Billy Joel tie, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yes, Christie's artwork there. Very
the river.
Cool.
So, as I told you, I'm a big Billy Joel fan. I'm now a big Evan Toth fan. I listen to your music. I told you off. I'm telling you on. I'm telling everybody out there. The music is great. If you're a Billy fan, if you're not a Billy fan, it doesn't really matter. If you're a Billy fan, you're gonna hear the influence. You're gonna love the music. If you're not a Billy fan, it's not gonna hit you in the face with Billy. It's just really good music, and I encourage everybody to check it out and check out your website. Check you out on social media, and when the album comes out, I would love to do an update with you, man.
It would be my honor, and again, thanks to you, John, and to your audience. And I would love to check in with you again, and we'll keep you posted, keep you updated.
All right, man. Well, thank you for your time, and keep doing what you're doing, and we're going to keep listening.
Thanks, Mr. John. Appreciate it.